Oh yeah.
Wow, what an incredible 2 weeks it's been since launching Sovereign City. I've had some really great feedback on this. It's a real passion project for me. And if you don't know what Sovereign City is, if you've been living under a rock, in today's world, freedom isn't something you're given. It's something you build one deliberate decision at a time. Sovereign City explores the ideas, tools and technologies that help you build greater freedom, resilience and independence. So I'm giving away tons of free information on this website. I'm building out every single week. But the real flagship thing going on at the moment is the Sovereign City Dispatch. It's the newsletter which I'm sending out. It's totally free, that you can join up and basically get a ton of information and hopefully some great ideas on how you too can become more private, more sovereign, practical ideas and things that you can actually implement. So in today's video, I'm going to be walking through how you can design your own privacy stack in literally one weekend. But before I get to that, if you want to join the dispatch, you can click on here. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment. You can come over here, you can join up. It's got 46 people already joined and they're already receiving these emails every Friday. And hopefully you guys will get tons of free value from this. So let's jump straight over into the dispatch. This is basically an idea of what it looks like when it comes through to you. So how do you build a privacy stack in one weekend? So I'm not going to read through this whole thing because hopefully either you're already subscribed or if you're not, I'm going to be making these editions available on the Sovereign City website over the coming week. I'm actually traveling for the next couple of days, but I will be doing that. So you'll be able to see all of the previous newsletters on there on the website, which will add further value, hopefully, to the website. So if we come down a little bit and first principles. Okay, so if you're currently using Google, which a lot of people are, you're no doubt getting snooped on and watched and monitored when you use the internet. So one of the easiest things you can do, totally free, is to change your browser. And change that, my opinion, would be to Brave browser. I've been using Brave browser for probably 6 or 7 years now, and I never ever look back after that. So it's a super easy to use browser and it blocks so much unnecessary stuff, so many unnecessary trackers, and it's actually getting stronger and stronger all the time. They put out a update yesterday, which I might just put up on the screen right now, and it's going to further reduce your kind of digital footprint as you go. So it's a superb browser and it's free, so you can make that switch literally today, or try it out, download it, try it out. I'm going to leave all the relevant links in the description so you guys know that you're going to the right place. You can install it, make it your default, import your bookmarks, and then crack on. And that's one step further away from Google, which ironically this is a Google Mail, but I do have Proton Mail, but we'll get onto that in another video. Anyway, so we're going to move down to your connection. As I've written here, your internet provider can see a significant amount of information about your internet activity. So when you use a VPN, you're not becoming invisible per se, but you are diverting your information away from your internet service provider. Now, in many cases, VPN companies still keep logs on customers. So if they were to be hit up by the feds or whatever, then they have to hand over those logs. However, there is a VPN called Mullvad. And if you hear stuff about Mullvad, good stuff online, it's going to be legit because they don't have any kind of referral thing. No one's getting paid to talk about them, but they are battle tested in a way that many aren't. So they actually did get raided and they were asked to hand over the logs. They had nothing to hand over. And another great thing about Mullvad is that you can also pay in crypto. You can also pay in Monero, like a totally private cryptocurrency, if you want to go one step further. We'll be getting onto Monero in a little bit. But with Mullvad, it's like a really simple, straightforward plan. So it's like €4 or €5 a month. You can pay in crypto, you can pay the year up front if you want, and that's about as clean as it gets for a VPN. Mullvad is superb, and as I said before, I don't get paid for talking about it. It's just my recommendation. It's what Sovereign City recommends, so definitely have a look into that, and that will be one step further towards building your privacy stack. Now we can come down to phone now. Our phones have become basically like little mini surveillance devices, as convenient and as useful as they've become, they've also become mini surveillance devices in our pockets. Most people don't realize there are other options outside of Google and Apple. If you've ever heard of Graphene OS, I've spoken about it a few times on X. If you're not following me on X, by the way, I've talked about loads of this stuff on there at True Millionz. Definitely come and hit me up on X and join the conversation there. But Graphene OS is an open source operating system which is privacy focused. They're not going to be selling your data, they're not going to be monitoring you, and you can still use most of your favorite apps on there. You can use most banking apps, you can use most social media apps because you get them from a sandboxed version of Google Play Store. So the irony is that Graphene OS actually supports Google Pixel phones. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of the Google Pixel phone, and the reason being is nothing to do with it being Google. It's the fact that the hardware is extremely bulletproof, and Graphene OS are comfortable having their operating system on that piece of hardware. The good thing is that once you wipe a Pixel clear of anything Google related, you can then exchange that and upload Graphene OS onto your device. Then you have a very, very privacy focused phone in your hand. You can't just upload Graphene OS onto any phone. It has to be a supported phone, and most of those phones at the moment are Google Pixels, although Motorola are coming out with one, I think, this year or next year. So that's going to add another option. But if you want to know the best phones you can use for Graphene OS, I've done a full breakdown on the Sovereign City page where I show our recommended phones, different budgets, depending on what you want. If you want to read that, again, I will leave that in the pinned comment so you can have a look through that at your own time. But check that out to find out which Google Pixel phones are compatible with Graphene OS. Now that's quite a big step, that one, but it could be one that you do on a spare phone for now, just to try it out and see how you get on. But I have a Graphene OS phone functioning at the moment as well, and I know a few other people that have, and they've never looked back. And the fact is, as things get more and more creepy with Apple and Google, people are going to be looking for different ways to kind of get away from them a little bit. And I said to brother Millionz recently that, because he's in the UK right now, I said to him, if all these sort of crazy age verification things come in the UK, people are going to start needing to know this type of information. They're going to start looking this stuff up, and Google Pixel phones could become quite hard to get. So I've said to him, if I was you, I would get one sooner rather than later, just so you've got one, just so you have options outside of the surveillance web that's kind of closing in on a lot of the West, actually. So in the dispatch, I've got links to all of that in here as well. If we come down a little further, we talk about messages. So this is all part of the phone, the same thing, but a lot of people are using WhatsApp. WhatsApp is super easy to use. Everyone kind of uses it. But the problem is that they are now basically have confirmed that they're scanning all your photos and your messages, and it's not the kind of encrypted service that most people thought it was, or maybe that it used to be. But Signal is something that works almost the same as WhatsApp. It has a really similar feel, and just different branding. It's open source. It's very, very privacy focused. So Signal is a really easy way to transition away from WhatsApp and Meta and get something more secure, more private as your messenger. Now, I still have WhatsApp because some of my family refused to move over, some of the older sort of relatives. But my brother, for example, has moved to Signal. I've got some friends here in Mexico that have moved to Signal. So I'm building a collection of people that have moved to Signal now and are really, really enjoying it. And you can also sleep better at night knowing that you're not getting surveyed using Signal. Some people would say, oh, you have to sign up with a telephone number. Well, yes, that is true. However, it's never proven to be an issue with Signal, but they are removing that as well. So you're not even going to need a telephone number to sign up to Signal soon. So that's a really good move for Signal. If you are concerned about that, you could just get a KYC free eSIM and use that as the number that you sign up with. After that, you don't even need it anyway. So you could just do that. But Signal is a great way to help onboard people and get them away from WhatsApp, who are scanning everything and snooping on your business. So anyway, we'll keep moving. Your money, and this is a really big one because something that we rely on every single day to buy food, to pay rent and everything. But if you want an option outside of the traditional banking system, a question I always ask to people is, if you woke up tomorrow morning and didn't have access to your primary bank account, would you still be able to buy food? Would you still be able to catch a flight somewhere if you had to leave the country? Would you still be able to do these things without your bank account? And a lot of people would say no. And if you say no, if that's your answer, I would suggest getting a couple of backup plans where you know that you can always access the things that you need, even if your bank went down. Or, I hear of so many people having their bank accounts closed because they tried to buy crypto. It's crazy, because those banks are themselves investing in crypto, but they don't want you doing it. So actually happened to a friend of mine here in Mexico. Santander closed his account for trying to buy $500 of Bitcoin. So make that make sense. But a couple of options you have. You could get to know Monero a little bit better. So you've probably heard me talk about Monero before. It's a completely private, anonymous cryptocurrency. Some people say it's what Bitcoin should have been. And I kind of agree in many ways. But if you had something like a Cake wallet, Cake wallets are amazing, by the way. You can just download them on your phone, and you can use Monero, Litecoin or Bitcoin to buy gift cards. And depending on what region you're in, you can use them on Amazon, on Walmart, on various, you could fill your car tank with it. So many different options that you can spend these gift cards on. So if you really had to get hold of some money, you had some crypto, you could turn it into gift cards, and you could buy a multitude of different things with that. So that's I've tested it out before. I actually did a video on it before and showed people how it all works. It's very seamless. Cake Wallet are incredible. Shout out to Cake Wallet. So that's one thing. But another one, which might be more straightforward for a lot of people, is to get a KYC free Visa card that you top up with crypto. Now, I've recently done a field test for a week using the Privacy Gateway KYC free crypto card, and I tried spending it in multiple places and it worked seamlessly. So I tried it in a pharmacy, I tried it in a department store, a convenience store, a food store, I used it at the gym. I've used it kind of so many different places, and that's in Mexico City. I know people using this in South Africa, I know people using this in the UK. So I've had a really good experience with Privacy Gateway, so much so that I did a full field test, and it's on the Sovereign City website if you want to read the whole thing. And last week's newsletter was based around this as well. So I've been really impressed. There's basically two tiers. You can do a monthly payment or you can do a yearly payment. I did the yearly. It was $60 for the year, and I can top up as little as $20. So I don't keep loads of cash, like loads of funds on these type of cards. Just as and when you need it really is probably the most sensible way. But I've got to say, I've been really impressed. So I'll leave the link for that in the pinned comment also, if you want to try out Privacy Gateway. You don't need to give them any information on you whatsoever. Again, I'm not telling people to do this. I'm just saying these are options that you can have as backups outside of the traditional banking system, should you ever need them. So that's how you can potentially build a privacy stack in one weekend. I go into all of this in way more detail, as you can see in the newsletter, but luckily, for everyone who missed Friday's edition, I will be making a separate section on this website where I can upload all of the previous editions, because there's tons of value in those. But in the meantime, if you want to get next week's edition of the Sovereign Dispatch, come over to sovereignCity.xyz, get the dispatch up in the corner here, become one of the founding Sovereign builders, and hopefully you guys will get tons and tons of value out of all the free information that I'm giving away every Friday. So thanks to everyone who's signed up so far. I love you all long time. I hope you're all having an absolutely amazing day, whatever you're doing. Stay bullish, stay private, and I'll see you all in the next video.